Hey everybody, it's Brad with another video for you. In this video, we're going to learn to use this heat transfer glitter vinyl that we have to cut it out with the Silhouette Cameo Cutter. And it's actually really easy. I was surprised by how easy this is. I couldn't believe that there wasn't more to it, really. So I'm going to get right to it. When you're sitting in front of your computer, you're going to open up your Silhouette Studio program. So I'm going to just go ahead and double click on my Silhouette Studio program, and it runs through a little thing, and when it opens up, here's what I'm looking at. I've got this square that simulates the cutting area. This little picture in the back is the cutting mat, and this arrow tells me that this is where I'm loading it in, so I know that's how I need to orient whatever my design is. We're going to do, in this video, we're going to do just text, and it's pretty straightforward the way that it works. You go over to the lettering tool. It's a capital letter A, has a little red line next to it. If you hover your mouse on it, it says text. I'm going to left click on that. And then if you look in the properties box over here, we have under text style, we have the fonts that we have on our computer. So you can go through and pick a font that you like. I'm going to use, let's see. I guess I should have planned in advance. You know what I like? I like this Hobo font. I'm going to use this Hobo STD font. Again, you use whatever font you feel like using. And then once you pick your font, go and left click somewhere in the design space here, or inside this white square. I'm going to left click there. Now I'm going to make a shirt for my daughter. So I'm going to put Meadow. Okay. I think that looks nice. So once you have your letters the way that you like them, and you can go in and change, you can change it with these sliders here. You can change the spacing between the letters. You can change, if you have multiple lines, this one here, the line spacing would increase the space between the lines. And I could make it bold or italic or underlined, or any of those things. The size you can change right here, or you can actually do it sort of manually, which is the way that I'm going to do it. So I'll show you that in a second. Okay, but once you get your letters in, just double click, and it clicks off of the lettering thing. And now if I left click again on my letters, I get this little selection box, and this shows me the size. It's 3.72 inches wide by 1 inch tall, and I want to make it a little bit bigger. So just like a lot of the other programs that you're used to dealing with, you've got these corner boxes, and if you move your mouse over to one of the corner boxes, the little arrows come up that indicate that it's going to scale when I increase the size. Now if I do one of the center boxes, look, it doesn't scale, it actually stretches. Okay. Now your undo button, which you're going to want to get familiar with, is right here in the upper left kind of area of the screen. It's a backwards arrow. You left click it once and it'll undo, and it should plays like a little animation. I think it's cute the way it does that. Anyway, so I make it as big as I want it to be, and I like to move it up to the upper left hand area so that it cuts from the left over. And believe it or not, we're almost done at this point. I mean, this is how simple this really is. But because this is a heat transfer, we actually have to mirror image this design, because otherwise when we go to iron it onto our shirt, this is going to be backwards. It'll be mirrored, because we kind of have to cut it upside down, sort of. So we need to mirror image this, and the way we do it is you go up to Object, and in the top screen up here, Object, move your mouse over that, and then move your mouse over Transform, and from there choose Flip Horizontally, and it's mirrored. So now it's ready to be cut here at this point. I just want to make sure that I have my cut settings to the correct settings for this material that we're going to use. Now, it may be slightly different for different brand vinyls. So if you're going to buy some that you don't buy from me, just make sure you find out from the manufacturer, either on their website or maybe some kind of documentation. I'm sure you'll be able to find it somewhere, what the right settings are for cutting it. So to get this over to my Cameo Cutter, I hit File, and then move down to where it says Send to Silhouette. So I left click on that, and I get this little interface over here where it tells me to set the silhouette rollers to 13 inches, place the page on the cutting mat, blah, blah, blah. We're not actually going to use a cutting mat. And you want to go in here to change settings. I'm going to click on that. We're going to turn off cutting mat. We're going to turn on double cut. If you don't have double cut on, put double cut on. Change the thickness to 10, the speed to 5, and it says to have your blade on 1 here, but that's because we didn't tell it what kind of stuff we're using. Let's see. Heat transfer material. Alright, so I've set my stuff to heat transfer material here. But see, it changed the settings to the way... I'm just going to do it the way that I've been doing it. So instead of having this going by what it says to use up here for heat transfer material, I'm going to leave my settings the way that I had them. I'm going to have this on 10. I want it on double cut, so I want your speed to be 5, your thickness on 10, double cut to be set, and then you're going to go and load the cutter, which I'm going to show you how to do that. But once you've loaded the cutter, you just hit cut, and it's going to go and cut it out. Alright, so now I'm going to switch over and show you how to set up your machine. Okay, so here we are. We've got my Cameo Cutter sitting here on my kitchen table, and this, let's see if my camera's too far away. Not real good with live action cameras here. Anyway, alright, so this is the stuff. Now I'm using this purple one, but there's a bunch of different colors that we have. This side that's more dull, this is the side that we're going to actually cut. You don't want to do it this way. This way doesn't work. Oh, you can't see it. Yeah, sorry. Not used to working with a camera, guys. Alright, so here's the wrong side, the right side. Okay, so this is the side that we want to have cut. I made this mistake earlier, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I had to go actually watch a video myself on how to do this. Okay, so I have found that if your stuff is curled like mine is, see how it's curling up, it's best to do it sideways to the curl, because otherwise this wants to kind of work its way up into the machine and it makes kind of a mess. And I messed one of mine up earlier because the vinyl wanted to curve up into the machine. Alright, so let's see. This guide right here is what we're lining up with. Oh, and you know what? I need to show you how to adjust your blade too, just in case you don't know how to adjust your blade. Your blade, there's a little thing here that moves to lock it and unlock it. This is your blade, okay, and this is your blade adjuster. There's a little red line that you can see that tells you what setting you're at. And for cutting this vinyl, I want it to be set on 4, okay? So I don't care what that program said. It said to put it on 3 for this stuff. Put it on 4. So what you do is you put your blade down with the red thing facing forward, and then you can move it around, and that'll change the depth of your blade. So I've got mine set on 4. It already was, but... And then put this thing back in, and make sure you push it down all the way. I actually had this problem earlier. It was driving me nuts. I couldn't figure out why. And, you know... You guys may have been using your Cameo Cutter more than me, but I had it in only this far, so it wasn't down all the way, and I was wondering why it wasn't cutting. Well, it's because the thing has to be down all the way, and then you turn the little blue guy to lock it. So that's how that works. Alright, now we're going to take our glitter stuff here, and with no cutting mat, we just put it right at kind of the mouth of this guy, and there's a little guide right here. You line the left end of it up with that, and then make sure, now you can't see the screen on this, but there's 2 choices, load cutting mat and load media. Press down until it load media because we're not using a cutting mat. But once you have your stuff lined up in there, hit enter and it'll load it. And I like to move it down a little bit just because of the curvature that I was getting. Because these were kind of sitting on a shelf, they folded a little bit. So if yours are like that, move it up a little bit using this. If you hit this down button, it actually sucks it into the machine a little bit. Because what was happening to me anyway was this curled up edge was hitting this piece and it kind of bent in. And I ruined a piece of this vinyl stuff, which is like $5 a pop, so you don't want to do that. Anyway, but once you have it cut, or not once you have it cut, once you have it loaded in there, this is when you're going to hit the cut button on the program. All right, so I am going to do that, and this should work. So let's see. All right, I've just hit the cut button for my meadow design. So it should be going through and making my meadow design here. It's kind of like a printer. If you hear my dog barking over there. Anyway, if you hear that little ticking sound that it was getting every now and again, that's the curled up edge of this hitting the inside part of the machine. Doesn't seem to bother it as long as it doesn't get caught up in there, which turning it sideways seemed to make it so it didn't get caught up in there. And if you find that it doesn't cut all the way through, double check that you had it set on double cut. I had one time, I had it with these settings and I didn't have double cut on, and it seems like that's pretty important. Okay, should be done. So you hit the enter button here to unload. So I'm going to hit this enter button and it kicks my thing out. And I can see my letters are cut out. I don't know if, yeah, see, you can kind of see that in the reflection where it's cut out. So ideally, what I would use here, I'm going to move my camera a little bit. Ideally, what I would be using is a rotary cutter, but I didn't think to bring one home with me, and I don't have one at my house. So I'm going to use these poultry shears because they're the only scissors I have handy, but you wouldn't probably use poultry shears to do this. Use a rotary cutter. It would be much smarter. Get a straighter line, I'm sure. But I'm just going to cut it out. Okay. Woo! And now you're just going to peel this clear plastic away from the glitter part. Okay, and assuming your settings were right, it should come away from your letters fairly easily, but you don't want to do like, you don't want to like whip it off, you know. You do it gently. That way you can kind of get out around the detail part on the letters. Like, let's see, this E. There we go. So you just kind of do it slowly but surely. Aha! Very nice. All right. And then peel out the inside part of your letters. Like here I've got this O, the inside of the A and the E need to be pulled out. But my letters are all right in the right place, and they're still stuck to this paper. Look. See, that's why we cut those out backwards, because we're actually going to iron them like this. Like this. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch over to the iron, and actually I need to find a shirt because I wasn't smart enough to get a shirt before I did this. So we'll be right back. Okay, so that took a long time. I'm trying to find a blank shirt in my kids' room as I'm looking for a needle in a haystack. I guess that's my fault. And now what I'm doing, I'm actually peeling the price tag, peeling the price tag off of this thing, which I should have done before I started the video, but I just noticed that it was still on there. Okay, so what we're going to do, try to get this off, okay, we're going to take this and we place it on the shirt right where we want it to be. This thing is conveniently sticky. So it sticks to it just like that. Now, ideally, I would have a Teflon pressing sheet. I don't have one, so don't laugh well, I guess you can laugh if you want to. I'm using an old T-shirt to avoid scorching the shirt that we're doing. And yeah, so it's not pretty, but it works, or at least it worked the last time. So, like I said, ideally Teflon pressing sheet. I haven't got one. All right, so we put the sticker on there. We got the shirt on there. Dog's barking over there. So we just close this, and it's gonna beep. Just ignore the beeping. I like to do like 20 seconds at a time. It beeps after, I think, 10 seconds. So we're just gonna let it beep for a few seconds. Okay, pick it up, take a look at what we got here. So if you peel up a little tiny bit and it looks like the letters are still stuck to the sticky stuff, then you go and do it again. And I'm going to do again another like 20 seconds or so. Quiet down, iron. You don't tell me when I stop ironing. Hope this works, because I only get one take. It's not like all my computer videos. Alright, we're getting there. I'm going to do one more little blast. You really want the glue to get good and bonded with the fabric. Nothing worse than going to all this trouble and then having the thing just peel right off, right? Once this is done, by the way, this should be machine washable. You just want to let it hang dry. That's what somebody on the internet told me anyway. Alright, so I'm going to just go ahead and peel this up. Everybody seems happy. And then once you take your plastic off, take your Teflon pressing sheet / old T-shirt that you don't like anymore and hit it one more time. I think they say not to put your name on your kids' clothes. So I guess I'll just have her wear this around the house. Okay. That's it. She'll be delighted. Sparkly glitter letters on a shirt. Okay, that's it for this video. In the next one, I'm going to show you how to make more complicated shapes. See you then.